What's going on, everybody? Dots Gaming here, and welcome back to the channel. Today we have another 2v2 arena game breakdown. We're going to be breaking down a 2K plus MMR game against an Assassination Rogue and a Holy Paladin playing as Shadow Priest Resto Druid. This game ends up being a loss, and I did say on stream when we lost this game, I want to rewatch this game and see where I messed up, because I think if I remember correctly, it was a pretty close game, and I just wanted to see where I could have cleaned things up so that we maybe could have secured a win here. As you guys, I'm sure, saw in my last video, have a lot of work to do, have a lot of stuff to work on, and I do personally believe in any PvP video game, a really good way to improve yourself is to watch back your gameplay footage, just so that you can learn from it, see what mistakes you're making, and then shore those up when you go to play next time. And so I figured, since I'm going to be doing that anyway, may as well turn it into content on YouTube. So without further ado, let's actually get into this game breakdown. Again, Assassination Rogue, Holy Pally, going to be a pretty difficult game for me on my Shadow Priest. Holy Pally's got the Shadow Resist aura, which is going to just be chopping down my damage. On top of that, I'm also going to have a Rogue on me, which is going to just deal a ludicrous amount of damage, on top of, having mortal wounds on me, on top of just being able to kick or stun, like literally everything I do. And so it's just a little bit of a tough matchup. But with that being said, I do remember this being a pretty close game, and so I wanted to just break it down. So right off the bat, we do get two of their trinkets. It's a pretty large opener on their part, and they didn't really get a whole lot out of it. So we did my druid did a really good job at diffusing that situation. So after I get sapped the second time, he's still in stealth. Rogue opens on me after this sap with the cheap shot. We get the claw. We go for the bike. He does stun the rogue, basically stopping this opener. He then gets Hodge and just is able to sit the Hodge, and I'm just fine. That stun really stunned XD. That rogue in his opener, he didn't really know how to follow it up. So we were able to kind of get out of that pretty much unscathed without really using a whole lot. So I go for a stun on the Holy Paladin to start pushing some damage onto this rogue. I then followed up with a silence and my Shadow Fiend onto the rogue. Silence onto the H-Pal, Shadow Fiend onto the rogue, but they do just kite back in LOS, just waiting for the CC to run off and waiting for my cooldowns to just basically expire. So at this point, I'm just trying to maintain my dots on these two targets. This guy does faint, so he's going to be taking a bit less damage. My druid does use thorns on himself, so the rogue, has to come back onto me. He does Dressigath me, and it does hits me for literally nothing. My druid's in a Hodge, which is fine. He just bark skinned himself, so that's okay. He didn't need to burn trinket or anything. Rogue does not have a whole lot of pressure here. These guys are just playing passively. Rogue is just trying to get a reset. I unfortunately can't get onto him for to dot him up, so my druid is also just trying to play on the opposite side of the pillar, wait himself. I do manage to get Shadow Word Pain onto him, so I stun him afterwards. We do get his trinket. I tried to stun him in my line because I wanted to actually just get some frickin' damage on him, and plus at that point, because he did decide, I do want to pinch in on these guys, I actually start dealing some damage. I wanted to stun him out in the open because he wouldn't have been able to use cloak. Because he's in a stun, and he would have forced the Pally into the open, who then could have gotten bash cloned by my druid. So he does trinket that, though. So with Rogue with no trinket, it does make a very, very good swappable target in the future. I do get put into a full kidney. He does drop the Vortex, but he drops it right next to me, so it's not really going to help a whole lot. I think if he dropped it a little bit further, it would have been a bit better. I did drop my Scythe Fiend just to get a little bit of pressure out onto this guy, and you do get the Cloak of Shadows because my druid does a great job at putting the Paladins in a clone. So we do end up getting kicked by the rogue here. Unfortunately, we have no dots rolling out here. So I'm just trying to see, does anybody have anything that I can purge? I get kidneyed again, so I'm going to be pretty DR'd. I do get thorns on me, so the rogue's going to have to go back onto the druid. We dot him up and start dealing some of our instant damage. We go into void form here. We're just trying to pump out a little bit of pressure, but any single time we start to make headway, the rogue does just pull back, and unfortunately, that Shadow Resist aura is just, going to chop down a lot of our damage. So I'm just trying to chase his Pally around at this point, just trying to get his Divine Favor off. I end up getting put into a full kidney with a Dressigath, but it does really not do a lot to me because of that Iron Bark from the druid. He does get Hodge. I do get clawed after that as well. They're doing some split DPS here, so I don't think they're getting as much value out of that claw. I really don't think that was a good play on the Pally's part. I think he really screwed up. I should be purging this Divine Favor right here. First huge major mistake. Up to this point, I feel like I've been playing this game pretty well, for the comp that we're facing against, but right here, I really need to purge that Divine Favor, because right now this rogue is actually starting to take some damage. And if I was to purge that Divine Favor, that next heal that he receives is going to be nothing. So I go into the Scythe Fiend as well. Imagine if I purge that Divine Favor, guys, with the Scythe Fiend up. His next heal would have done nothing. But instead he is able to start to pick him back up. And so we go and we continue to try to pump some dots into him. He's trying to deal some damage onto our healer. We get the bike inside of the kidney shot. He is dealing a lot of damage. I basically pull him back to nowhere. That was a completely useless pull. The rogue does drop his smoke bomb here. I do MC the rogue here. Like this MC, I want my healer to be able to get some room, be able to actually start to heal himself back up a little bit. So I do really like that MC. We get our dots back up on the rogue. The healer bopped himself. I don't know if maybe he meant to bop somebody else. I'm not really sure what he bopped here. Let me see. Rogue vanishes, opens back up. I MC him. Paladin bops, and I don't know why he did that. If anybody knows in chat if that guy just maybe made a misclick, or if he was trying to bop something specifically for the druid, please let me know below, because I'm not really sure why he bopped there. I don't really know. Anyway, we're just pumping some more damage into this rogue here. I do try to stun him out in the open. Paladin does CC himself from dispelling my VT. Okay. So Paladin here is going to cleanse. I stun. Paladin cleanses, gets my stun off, as well as the VT. I get kidney shotted here. My druid is in a blind. I don't think I should have trinketed this kidney. Let me see. I trinketed the kidney. You know what? I know. I like the trinket because he immediately got Hodge after the blinding light. So I actually do really like that trinket. I think it was a really, really good decision. So I fade here while I wait for my druid to come out of the CC. We dot this rogue back up, drop the Scythe Fiend. We put the Pally into a full fear. So we're able to get some pressure on. He goes into a bash afterwards. I get kidneyed and dressed it here. We do get the Cloak of Shadows. We get the defenses out of, and we also get the bubble. Huge overlap on their cooldowns here. He clones him low. So we go to dot up the Paladin here. Rogue comes out of the clone, starts to just like kind of wander around a little bit. So we just stun him to gain a little bit of distance. He does trinket out of that though. So Rogue, no Cloak of Shadows, no trinket. This is just, I am so pissed that we lose this game. I have Thorns on me. The Druid is pushing in a little bit. Rogue goes back to his teammate. He just kind of runs in the open and flounders a little bit. He does faint for the damage mitigation. They are just kiting around because they know they have literally nothing in the cooldowns department. So one really good CC change from our part is going to basically give us a fat W here. Rogue unfortunately does get a re-stealth, and so does my Druid. I do get sapped. Unfortunately, I did try to keep myself in combat, but it did not really work. So I do just try to dot up this Holy Paladin. I do get silenced, and I do get put in a kidney shot. They claw. They're going for a big opener on me here. I'm going to fade. Really, really good fade. I like that. Go into a fear. The Pally trinkets it. We're going into dots. I am Iron Barked here. We're going to stun this guy in the open. We're going to drop the Scythe Fiend. Stop pumping some damage into me. I do get bites while on the Vendetta as well. I'm dropping really, really low. And I am forced to disperse. Them getting that re-stealth, unfortunately, really screwed this up. It turned the tides of battle for us pretty decently. We had all of the pressure in the world, and them allowing them to get the re-stealth just really screwed us over. I mean, it really was as simple as the Druid going to left and me going to the right, and we would have been able to keep that rogue in combat. But because we just didn't do that, we are now on the back foot when we had literally all the control in the world. And the Pally's taking a good bit of damage here. The rogue does blind our Druid. I get put in a kidney shot. Really, really good trinket on my part here. I do fade because I know he's going to try to do a little bit of damage here, but I do have Iron Bark on me, so that fade is probably useless. I do stun this guy here. We are going to put our dots onto him. Drop the Scythe Fiend. Silence him, trying to deal some damage. He just gets sucked back by the vortex. We have the claw on the Pally. We are just pumping into this Paladin right here. I don't have any dots on him, but if I try to cast them, he's just going to LOS it. He's just doing a really good job hugging this pillar. Rogue's got Cloak of Shadows back up. We do re-dot this guy, apply our damage to him. Pally does come back around the other side. He does Hodge our Druid. I do life swap him to try to keep him safe. That's a really, really risky life swap on my part. Let me see here. Let me see. Why did I do that life swap? Okay. Pally goes on the other side. He's going to get a big fatty divine favor heal on himself with his wide peepo sad. Yep. Really like the swap just because he did get Hodge afterwards. If I didn't swap, he would have died. So out of that, I run out of the the smoke bomb because I don't want to be in it. Druid starts healing me back up. We apply good pressure to the rogue, get his Cloak of Shadows. I have Thorns, but that's unfortunately not going to be ticking for anything because he does have the cloak up. I do get put into a full kidney shot here. Both double blinding light. End of my stun. Healer still stunned. Am I going to get the disperse? We stun this guy here. Vendetta still up. Bad clone. Very bad clone. Don't like that at all. I would have rather he cloned the Holy Pally here. Because I could have, I think... I have Disperse. I have Silence. I think if he cloned the Holy Pally here, and I attacked the Rogue, we could have, with inside of the stun, we could have done some really big stuff on the damage, but unfortunately that didn't happen. So I am just trying to dot this Rogue back up, just trying to get any pressure going here. I think that CC chain is going to cost us pretty big. Also now my fault as well. I did something really bad too. So double blinding light. I come out of that. F fade, like the fade. All right, just want to minimize any damage I'm taking. I stun this guy here. He clones him. Bad clone. Don't like that clone. I would have liked if he took one step to the left and fucking cloned this Holy Pally. Okay? I get over aggressive and silence this Paladin. There is absolutely zero reason I should be silencing this Pally here. The Rogue is at 50% HP. He is at 50% HP. He is just going to LOS me. Why did I waste my silence here? It did not accomplish anything. So instead, he just waits out that silence, wasted a perfectly good cooldown. I go into... he gets chunked by something. What the hell? So you see that something hit him for 60k. Let's see. So he stunned, wasted clone, wasted silence. It was my voodoo doll. My voodoo doll fucking chunked the shit out of him, dude. So he gets chunked by the voodoo doll. Okay? He's taking big old damage. If I had my silence right here, game's over. If I had my silence right here and did not freaking waste it, boom, game's over. So again, what I have been able to see from these last, this game review, as well as the game review that I posted the other day, I need to really make sure I am getting the best bang for my buck on my crowd control. I feel like I'm just firing out crowd control and it's basically going to waste because I'm crowd controlling at moments where we don't have a lot of momentum, you know? And it's not like those crowd controls that I am outputting are building momentum, you know? They're not really accomplishing a whole lot. So that is one huge thing I need to work on. One really huge thing I need to work on. Paying attention to DRs, not wasting silences and stuns and shit on moments where we're not going to make any headway anyway, and just being sure to not accidentally overlap stuff with my druid. So unfortunately, because I didn't use my silence, the Divine Favor gives this guy a huge juicy heal. They're back in the game. Got Aura Mastery back up from the Paladin. They're starting to get their cooldowns back. Those Ineffables kicking in. I go for a double fear here. Huge overlap with the clone, so he's able to just trinket both of them. That's a big oopsie poopsies on the side of my druid at that point. If he had saved the clone for afterwards, would have been able to chain that together, probably get a kill onto that rogue. I am now clawed shit. 25% health. We do disperse. Hammer of Justice came out. I'm still clawed. I pull my druid back to me. We just want to get a little bit of distance. I like that pull there that time. I am shadow locked. Try to get a stun on this guy to just relieve a little pressure off myself. Really stupid play because it was the minuscule DR. And because of that here, I am going to drop from the Pally. As you can see, pissed off. Really, really close game against a really hard comp. And the shitty part is that we could have pulled that out if I was way more efficient with my CC. Again, even we saw towards the end of that game, I dumped a big stun into that. Big DR stun into that rogue, accomplishing not a whole lot. But again, I am very glad to be able to watch these videos back. I'm really, really glad that I am streaming and recording the entirety of my arena journey because I feel like it has allowed me to learn. Just from the few that I've done, I really feel like I've learned a lot so far. And I don't know if I'm going to be playing my Shadow Priest or a different character come Shadowlands, but I just feel like the lessons at this point that I'm learning are less class specific and more just like arena specific, you know, and just like basics at this point. And again, I'm learning so much, and I'm seeing it's really nice to watch my gameplay from a bird's eye view. And hopefully you guys, even though again this is not high tiered gameplay, this is, you know, this game was 1900 MMR, last game was 2K MMR. I know this isn't the craziest high tiered gameplay, but I hope that, you know, those of you who are around a similar MMR or lower than me are learning things from this game. Maybe these are some things that you're doing and you're not noticing, and hopefully, you know, you're able to pull something from this and you know, grow a little bit in your own gameplay as well. But again, if anybody has any tips for me, feel free. Constructive criticism, always leave it below. Do not mind it. Leave any comments about what you guys think about this video below. Hopefully you guys did enjoy it, and if you did, smack a like on it. And of course, guys, to keep up to date with the WoW content I'm putting here on my YouTube channel, please hit that sub button as well as the bell to keep notifications on. So thank you all so much for stopping by today. I very much appreciate it. As always, I'm Dots Gaming, and I'll see you all in the next one.